So now I'd like to answer some fan questions, and the first one has to do with practicing and my routine. So I still practice. I love playing guitar. It's a lot of fun, and I love trying to get better. My practice routines usually try to span many different techniques, so I make sure that I stay well balanced. So I do 1-note, 2-note, 3-note, 4-note per string ideas, arpeggios, legato techniques, things like that. I've been doing a lot of guitar playing this year because there's been a lot of creativity, so I spend many, many hours in the studio, up to 8-10 hours in the studio. So yeah, I still play a lot, and it's really, really important if you want to get better at the instrument, and the consistency is the most important thing. That would be my best advice. If you can practice a little each day, it's better than kind of just saving it up for like one day or the weekend. Try to do, even if it's 20 minutes, if it's 6 hours, great. But if it's 20 minutes or a half hour or 45 minutes, it's better to try to be consistent every day with that. So the Dream Theater music and my solo album music, and even Liquid Tension, I mean, this is complex music. There's a lot of parts. The songs are long. I have developed my ability to memorize music over the years, and this is one of those things where I'm not sure if you are sort of born with the ability to do this or you develop it from doing it a lot. I'm not really sure. In my case, I do it a lot, so my ability to memorize music has greatly grown over the years. For me, some of the key things that I do is I listen to the melody of the song, because that will kind of guide me to where the song is going next, or even pick up on a rhythmical motif. So what I'm trying to say is it's more about the connections between the sections of the songs that will help you to memorize what's coming next. As long as you put in the practice and you can play all the parts, getting those connection points are keys. It's kind of like directions. You don't necessarily have to pay so much attention while you're driving on a long road, but you need to know when the next turn is going to come up and if there are landmarks or a prompt or something. So it's very similar. You have to kind of follow those direction points in your mind. That will help you to memorize longer songs for sure. For me, I really like solo sections in music to be interesting. I like those to be moments where you can hear the instrumentalists do their thing, but not in a way where it gets kind of old or boring. So, for me, having those solo sections stemming from improvisation is really important. So I guess in general, when I'm recording solos on records, I'll improvise most of it. But if there's a section that I want to get really technical or very specifically weave throughout a certain chord change or develop a certain technique, then I will work on that, work it out, practice it, and put that into the song as well. But the solos are mostly stemmed from improvisation. And I do love those moments, especially live, to have long extended solo moments and just kind of go for it. I think the art of building a solo is something that players develop over time, and I love doing that. I love having the opportunity to stretch and build something from something that's really intimate and sensitive into something that could be an incredible frenzy. And anyway, thank you for your question. I'm glad you're enjoying the solos, and I look forward to playing more live once life as we know it gets back to normal and we can be out there playing concerts again. I do a lot of traveling as a professional musician. Dream Theater has a very large international fan base, so we tour constantly. It's really important to stay healthy on the road. If you get sick, it not only could impact just you personally and your ability to perform. But things spread very easily when you're around that many people on tour buses and planes and stuff. We all know what the state of the world is right now, so it's even more important, obviously. But for me, sleep is really important with all that traveling. I do exercise and work out on the road. I find that very important, not only for physical conditioning, but for stress and anxiety reduction as well. We all say we try to eat right, but we break that rule constantly. But you do your best. And as far as, my hands and stuff like that, I'm constantly stretching. I warm up before shows. Even if it's not a show day or it's after the show, I'm always stretching my hands, massaging my hands. It's just something that has become a habit. But that's basically it, trying to eat well, getting sleep, exercising. I sound like a doctor right now, but basically those are the rules to follow. Even more important when you're doing that kind of really serious traveling all over the world. I've been into physical fitness and working out for many years now. I make it a part of my daily routine. It's important to me, both physically and mentally. And when I did get into working out, I got into weight training, which is, it's kind of traditional, I guess, for me. So the routines that I like to do are the general sort of bodybuilder weight training routines where you'll focus on a certain muscle group for the day. It might be a chest day one day, leg day one day, et cetera, et cetera. And my body it changes. It depends on my diet, and it depends on the phase I'm in. I've been in phases where I'll try to get as big as I can and eat a lot and work out and lift real heavy weights. And then I'll go into a dieting phase where I'm trying to be more cut. It depends on what I'm going for. But I guess the general idea is that I keep fitness and weight training a big part of my life all the time. Definitely makes me feel better. The one thing I have to be really careful about, obviously, is I am a guitar player. First and foremost, that's my profession, so I'm always careful about my hands. I use lifting straps. I'm careful with the amount of weight that I lift when I'm alone, especially, which is most of the time. But anyway, just if you're a musician and you're into it, watch your fingers, your hands, your wrists, your arms, everybody. That sounds obvious, but I have gotten hurt before. It's no fun. You got to be careful in the gym. But yeah, that's my my physical fitness routine is weight training, sort of bodybuilder style. For most of my career, have had some sort of beard. Yeah, I started out sort of just clean shaven in the beginning, but even I guess from the Awake days, which was pretty early on, I had a beard, I had a goatee. It wasn't until I don't know how many years now I've gone with like the full kind of epic beard and mustache style. It's been many years now, but I've always been into that kind of thing, how it influences your look. And I just kind of fell into this thing where like having like a big old school beard, I thought looked good on me. And I got really into kind of the lifestyle and the bearding culture, all the products and things like that, beard oils and balms, learning to trim your beard, experimenting with different shapes. It's actually a fun hobby, honestly. And the important thing to me always is to have a look that it looks like you're doing it on purpose, where there's a style to your beard, even if it's a long beard or mustache, and not something that just looks like you got lazy and, you decided not to shave. So I always try to have some sort of sense of style. I let it grow to varying lengths. It's pretty long right now. Will I let it grow all the way down to here like a wizard beard? I don't know. Sometimes when it gets that long, it's a little bit, it becomes harder to handle. But it's all about, I think, if you're interested in growing a beard like this, it's kind of what goes well with your face shape as far as like the length and the style. If you at all do any research on this, you'll find that there's a lot of information out there. There's videos, tutorials, photos, blogs, forget about it if you really get into it. Products as well. Anyway, yeah, it's fun. It's a fun hobby, and I'm keeping it going as far as I know. You know, I can't picture shaving this for a while. My signature instruments with Ernie Ball Music Man have a really cool feature that is connected to the volume pot on the guitar, which is a push-push dB boost feature. So push-push meaning that when you push on the volume control once, it pops out, and that means that the dB boost is engaged. If you push it again, it goes in, and then the dB boost is off. The reason we did it that way is because it's a very easy way to get to it when playing live. So when you're performing, you're playing something, you want to quickly put it on, you know, I literally like punch it with the side of my hand, just like that, on off. If it was something that was a switch or something you had to physically pull, it would be a little bit more difficult in a performance setting. There's also on the back of the guitar, there's a level of that boost. It can go up to 20 dB. I don't usually do that much boost. You know, usually I'll do around 12 or so in that zone. But you can figure out, set the sensitivity as to how much you want to boost the guitar volume. Now, if you were playing on a clean sound and you use the boost volume, you will hear the volume of your guitar jump out a lot because it's giving you extra volume, extra input into the front of the amp, and a clean sound will display that. Now, for me, I don't really use it that way. I use it on an already distorted sound. So on my boogie, I might be on channel 2 or channel 3. Let's say I'm on a lead sound. It's off. So when I'm generally playing, it's off. If I want to do something to get a little bit more sustain, have the notes sing a little bit more, I will turn it on. Now, when I do that on a sound that's already distorted, you will not hear a volume boost. What you're going to hear is a gain boost. So it's going to be like as if you had a clean boost pedal or like, overdrive set without the distortion on into the front of the amp. It's basically going to take your guitar's output and increase it going into the front, and that's going to increase the amount of gain, and that is going to increase the amount of sustain that you have. And that's the way that I use it. So only on select moments to get like some really, really super gain when I need it. My signature models with Ernie Ball Music Man, and it's been 20 years with Ernie Ball Music Man, so that's unbelievable. It's been an incredible relationship. But they all come in a 6-string and, as you guys know, a 7-string version. One of the things I've talked about for a while now, there have been rumors, the rumors are correct, is the development of an 8-string model. Why not add one more string? So specifically, we're going to come out with an 8-string Majesty model, and that is something that's being developed. It's been a project that we've been working on, myself and the engineers at Ernie Ball Music Band, and it should be ready in some form, even if it's a prototype from me, to be able to use on the next Dream Theater album. I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be, as all the Ernie Ball Music Man instruments are, it's going to be amazing. It will be the best. It'll be an incredible 8-string. For me, I don't play 8-string guitar. I never really played one, so I'm looking at it as an opportunity to experiment with a brand new instrument. Very much the way when I got my first 7-string was when Dream Theater was in the studio writing for the Awake album. And I got a 7-string, and we wrote The Mirror right off the bat. I'm looking for that same kind of inspiration from the 8. So I'll treat it, the development of the guitar from my own perspective as a player, my own experience. And I'm looking forward to that. So look out for that. Ernie Ball Music Man JP signature 8-string coming sometime soon. For the longest time, I have been using a Dunlop Jazz 3 pick. I discovered this a long time ago. The Jazz 3 shape, it's a stiff pick, it has a point to it, and it's a smaller pick. Now, more recently, I forgot when we did the first signature one, I started doing a signature pick with that same company, Dunlop, based off of a Jazz 3 shape, and we came out with the first JP signature pick, and it had a polished tip. It continues with the tradition of having a point and being a stiff material. Now I'm always experimenting with different guitar picks, probably to the point where it drives everybody crazy around me. Most guitar players do this. I know I'm not alone. If you ask your buddy to check out their pick collections, probably like in a bucket or drawer, there's hundreds of picks. Guitar players are just into this kind of nerdy aspect. But the cool thing is I'll stumble upon something that I really, really enjoy, and then, have a conversation with Jimmy Dunlop and the people there and the great engineers, and, talk about the possibility of developing a new version of the pick just to have another tool in the picking tool shed. And sometimes it comes from them too, where they'll present something new. Kind of happened with the NYC pick, which is the prime tone version that has a bevel on it, and they were coming out with this, and we made one for myself that has a custom bevel that I developed. The flow pick as well. I started getting into kind of gypsy guitar playing and looking into thicker picks. And that flow pick is a 2mm, does something different. The whole distance over time record was recorded using that pick. And the latest Trinity, again, Frank Oresti from Dunlop sent me a version of a triangle, a 3-sided pick, and I fell in love with it, and we developed it. It has bevels around all the sides of it, made it out of Ultex. It basically feels like a Jazz 3 pick, but you have 3 different sides of it, and it just became, there's a little bit more material for you to grab, so it's a little more stable, but this became my favorite so far. They're all awesome. They all kind of do similar but different things, and we just started to offer a signature pack, so you can get all 4 if you're interested in one pack, and you can try them out and see which one works for you. But I'll usually have all of them laying around, and as I'm playing, I'll pick one up or the other up, and depending on my mood, I'll use a different pick. But they're all amazing, and I'm really happy to have those with Dunlop. So the COVID-19 pandemic has affected people in so many ways. A lot of people have dealt with it in ways that make sense for them. Some people have had a lot of trouble. The topic of sort of not being motivated, losing that motivation and that drive because of the pandemic, because of it looking like the future is very uncertain, or that your life has been put on hold. I know that's a big issue for a lot of young people, and I totally understand that feeling. I think that the best way to deal with it is to sort of step back and try to look at the big picture. This is a big deal right now, for sure. It's a big deal in the entire world. But in the bigger picture, life is not always going to look this way. It will get back to where you can get things going. I realize it's hard to stay motivated, as in general, as far as guitar playing, practicing, writing, dieting, working out. The best thing to do is, you got to be careful with that, because you don't want to get into sort of a downward spiral in that case. So, I would say don't have an overwhelming doom and gloom feeling that your life is on hold and somehow you'll never be able to do what you're meant to do. You will. You'll get back to it. Spend this time bettering yourself if you can. Don't think about too much as far as that is concerned. Do little pieces of it. If you do a little bit each day, it could be one thing. At least keep moving forward. And that will help you. That'll help you with your overall your self-esteem and the way that you feel about yourself. And if you are motivated, then use this time to get things done to prepare yourself to be better. For me, I found that it was a great opportunity, obviously, to get my solo album finally done. And I was able to use the time productively, and it was very cathartic, and it was good for my mind and spirit. And so that will help you to have hope. So I know it's difficult, but life will not always be this way. It's going to get better. It's going to return to normal. And try your best to use this time to, even though you might not be as motivated, just do a little bit. Because sometimes a little bit leads to more, and then you feel better about the future.